Bridge officials invited me to their headquarters in Warren, Michigan to share their concerns. When I arrived, I was told I would be speaking to an official in Canada by phone. Paula Lombardi says the Canadian government is trying to destroy business at the Ambassador Bridge.
The only way that direct can actually be successful is by taking business purposely from a U.S. citizen that owns a private company.
And about the allegations of discrimination? Are you suggesting that there may possibly be racism here?
We're suggesting that we're looking into it and considering it.
Right when I thought I had traveled across the border for a phone conversation, in walks the man behind the operation. Matty Maroon says he's still stunned by the Canadian government's actions.
I can't believe it.
Not expected at all?
No. Unbelievable.
By all accounts, Maroon is a successful businessman who rarely grants media interviews. His family moved to Detroit in the 1920s after their Windsor home was expropriated to make room for the Ambassador Bridge.
Right about here somewhere.
Now he owns the bridge and is tangled in numerous lawsuits with governments on both sides of the border, trying to stop construction of a competing bridge down the river.
And there's no traffic.
It's been cut.
That's the sad part of it. We're all hurting badly.
It's a position he knows makes him a bit unpopular at times.
I get a lot of, as you probably know, a lot of barbs, and some are hard to handle, and some are demeaning too.
Maroon cut off our conversation before I had the chance to ask if he would ever consider selling the bridge.
Very nice to meet you.
Thank you.
He's a busy man, facing the toughest battle of his 82 years. Welding students learn, in this business, there's a lot at stake.
Life is at risk. If a weld breaks, somebody's life could be on the line, and that's what it boils down to.
Professor Tom McQuinney says safety is his #1 priority. It's also the reason the government stopped the installation of the girders. Officials say 560 of them were produced using tack welding, which is not permitted under the bridge code without approval.
They're going to be load-bearing structures, so the trucks are going to drive over them.
McQuinney says tack welding is usually reserved for thin metals or temporary holds.
I do have a piece here. It's basically just a spot put on a piece of steel. Typically, tack welding is used to hold a component together before welding.
The alternative takes more time, costs more money, but is much more structurally sound.
This is a multi-pass weld, so that's why it looks like there's more than one. But this is a weld from start to finish with complete penetration with no defects.
And it can hold a lot more weight.
You can find examples of tack welding all over the place. Take, for example, this cart right here. You can see the 3 spots where it was welded together, but the difference here is if these come apart, no one's going to get hurt.
There's no stress or load put on the part itself. But typically in structural steel, bridges, buildings, you would only see that as a precursor to welding to hold the part together.
McQuinney says he wants the road he takes to get into work to be solid and is confident it will be.
There are people put in place in the ministry by our government that we hope do their job properly, which is why this was caught. Nobody likes to hear that there's a billion-dollar project being put on hold, but at the same token, you like to know that it's being done properly.
The government is expecting an update on the safety and durability of these girders in the next 30 days.
You're gonna see the light of Jesus today.
Visitors to the Ibrahim home got an up-close and personal look at Mary today. After 3 months in alleged lockup, the shrine was opened. Some visitors were even allowed to touch the statue and see for themselves that she is indeed producing oil.
Did you see any oil on your hand?
You see oil on your hand?
There is oil. Show the people.
What does it feel like?
What does
It feels oily.
Fadia Ibrahim says she hopes this silences the skeptics.
I'm not lying. It's the truth.
But she also had another message for the faithful.
Everybody keep going to your church now. This is the truth. Go back to your church.
Since alerting the media to her shrine, her home has become a bit of a circus, hundreds of people at a time coming to worship. And Ibrahim says that's too much. Are you still going to be looking to the city to allow you to keep this here?
I don't know. Like, I like my family, and I like Virgin Mary. And since that time, it's hard.
So she's looking for a church to volunteer to take the statue off her hands. So far, no takers. But some here today wish the church would take more of an interest. They believe in God and miracles, but Kevin Laframboise says he doesn't know what to believe here.
I don't want to be fooled by a hoax. I have no idea if it is. Like I say, I don't know these people. But if it's unexplainable, tell me that you have no explanation for it and let me decide what I want to believe.
At Assumption University, the director of theology says there's a reason the church is keeping its distance.
It's people who believe, who are coming to manifest that belief, who are seeking God's presence and grace. Would the church want to stop that search? No.
At the beginning of the week, this was a relatively quiet neighborhood. There's no telling where it will end up, but the woman behind the spectacle is sure of one thing.
Since Virgin Mary come by to me and Jesus beside me, I'm not afraid. And I have my responsibility. I have to give the people the light of Jesus, and I done it. Okay.
God bless your heart.
Allison Johnson, CBC News, Windsor.
A tribute today outside of Comerica Park as fans gather to say goodbye to the beloved broadcaster. There's some sadness here today for sure, but also a bit of comfort knowing that Ernie Harwell is still very much here, and he will be for a long time.
Swing, there's a drive to left. That one is long gone.
For 42 years, he told the story of the area's favorite ball team.
He swings and fouls it off. It'll reach the seats, and the man from Walla Walla will take that one home.
Ernie Harwell started out at the old ballpark in 1960. He was with the Tigers and their fans through the good times and the bad, and even a controversial move to a new stadium.
How do you talk to a legend? Can you say goodbye to a shrine? Can you walk away from a treasure? It's not easy. You do it with a lump in your throat and a tear in your eye.
There were some tears today as his fans paid tribute to a legend.
Sad day, for his loss. So, our thoughts go out to his family.
One of the broadcaster's biggest fans is right here in Windsor, the owner of one of Harwell's favorite restaurants.
That voice, how could you mistake? Even when he was in a personal setting, that voice was so sonorous, so there.
Two for the price of one for the Tigers.
Harwell reached through the airwaves and touched people deeply. He was a master of his craft right through to his final broadcast in 2002.
And rather than goodbye, please allow me to say thank you. Thank you for letting me be part of your family. Thank you for taking me with you to that cottage up north, to the beach, the picnic, your workplace, and your backyard. Thank you for sneaking your transistor under the pillow as you grew up loving the Tigers. Now, I might have been a small part of your life, but you've been a very large part of mine, and it's my privilege and honor to share with you the greatest game of all.
And because he shared this game with so many people, there will no doubt be a lot of people hoping to say goodbye to Ernie Harwell. You'll have that chance tomorrow. Starting at 7 o'clock, the gates will open here and his body will be here. As you can see behind me, they're already getting ready for this event. They have no idea what to expect, but they believe there will be a lot of people looking to say goodbye for one last time. Susan?
Riding a bike doesn't come naturally to Adam Roy. His mom spent the past 7 years trying to teach him.
We've bought him knee pads and different helmets and incentives and bribery and everything to try. And it's just never worked. He'd get upset, he'd give up.
Adam has autism. His story is like many others here at the I Can Ride camp, where kids with disabilities learn to ride on adaptive bikes with rollers.
Those are easy to ride? Immediately, right. It's very heavy and very stable.
They learn to steer and brake and balance, and then they move on to a more difficult roller.
This one's more tapered on the ends, more wobble, but it's a nice gradual movement.
So this is where it all starts, but once these guys get their confidence, they head out to the road and they hit the pavement, and that's where the magic happens.
But not always right away.
That's the most important thing about riding a bike in life, just falling and getting back up. And once they fall, they kind of get a feel for it, and it kind of helps them get over their fear.
About 90 volunteers give up a week of their summer to make this happen. Julie Gaudette brought I Can Bike to Windsor after watching her son learn to ride a bike at a camp in Ohio.
I thought, you know what, finally he's going to be on a two-wheel bike just like his sisters. He's going to ride with his friends, and he's going to be like everybody else when he's riding a bike. It was perfect.
Now he's helping others ditch the training wheels.
It gets hard, and then it gets easier and easier as the time goes.
As Adam Roy is learning today, after 7 years of trying, it finally clicked.
All these great kids here, they're helping so much. Now he gets to learn our neighborhood. Now he can get around town and keep up.
And that's the goal of the camp, helping those who think they can't switch gears and revel in the fact they can. Allison Johnson, CBC News, Windsor. This is the street name that has the town of Amherstburg talking, and this is the man who it's named after. Jim Masson is a retired TV repairman and a convicted sex offender. He spent a year in jail for sex crimes involving teen boys. Some feel his name has no business on the town streets.
These people that are airing in don't even know me, they don't even have a job, and I don't feel that they got a right to say the things that some of them are saying.
Amherstburg first got involved with Masson when they purchased a parcel of his property for the new arena. He donated some of the money back to the project in exchange for naming rights. And less than 2 weeks ago, Masson had a front row seat for the arena's grand opening.
I was introduced to all the members of parliament that were there and everything else going on. I was tops. We have the best arena in Essex County, and we're very proud of it, and I'm proud of it. And I'm proud to donate to it, and somebody out there is trying to ruin everything for us.
He actually has at least 326 opponents. They've signed a Facebook petition to get his name off the project. Former town councillor Rick Fryer is part of that group. He says he never thought council should have accepted the money from Masson.
A lot of the councillors used to say, when you look a gift horse in the mouth, do you really want to not take the money? And I said no, I didn't want to take the money.
It seems the town agrees it was a mistake. This morning, council reversed its decision.
We would return all of the funding back to the individual, and of course at the same time those naming rights on the property on the complex would be withdrawn.
By lunch, Masson Drive became a street with no name.
So it may look like the problem's been resolved for now, but it's far from over. Masson says he plans to challenge council's decision to take his name off the project and drag it through the mud in court. Allison Johnson, CBC News, Amherstburg. Hospital into a long-term care facility. He says he had no idea it would be this hard.
It's been frustrating, and I know it's frustrating for everybody involved, but we're just about getting ready to start.
He says getting an existing structure to meet current codes is difficult, and that's what caused most of the delays. And then there's the money. He says it's a factor in any development, and he owes a lot.
There's some liens and some judgments against me and the property and my former construction company, and those are all issues that are going to be dealt with, before the project starts. The money is in place to take care of those things, and everybody's going to be taken care of.
Voza says financing is in place to get the job done, but wouldn't go into detail. The project that was originally scheduled to open this spring is the largest he's ever worked on. Some people suggest that you're in over your head here. Do you think you are?
No, I don't. But, if this project would have stopped and would have folded, and they would have said I'm in over my head. Once the project is completed, people are going to say he got lucky.
And he still has the support of the province.
We remain confident that we will be able to find a way to make sure that this happens, because we're counting on those beds. Well, just closely monitoring these kinds of things. It's not out of the realm of possible that from time to time a project of this nature somewhere in the province of Ontario encounters a few challenges. Still recovering from your cross-examination.
And McGuinty isn't ruling out helping Voza if it comes to that. Now, those challenges do concern some politicians at the city level, though, who say the city has given Voza many chances and their patience is wearing thin.
This is last chance, and if we don't get this thing rolling, there's going to be some serious discussions that have to take place, because we can't absorb any more delays. The community can't deal with this sort of blight on both angles. We need the beds, and we need to end this blight.
For his part, Voza says the beds are coming, and nobody wants to see this place turned into a viable operation more than he does.
Village long-term care facility. In all, it's a 10-page report. Of all the numbers on these pages, and there are many, the most shocking, says business professor Mark Meldrum, is this, 41.
A ranking of 41 for an individual would not get them a mortgage of $10,000 on a $400,000 house, even if they had $390 to put down. That's how bad it is. It would just be a flat-out no.
A closer look at these pages reveals a lengthy list of claimants, contractors who say Lou Voza said no to them. I can't pay.
There didn't seem to be a loyalty to anybody.
When Deborah Franke hired Lou Voza in 2007, she asked for 50% of the payment up front.
We thought we were protecting ourselves, and obviously that didn't work to our benefit.
3 years later, she's still waiting to see the other $28,000.
At one point, the communication just broke down, and he refused to return our calls.
Today, we called all the claimants waiting to be paid by Voza. One of them said the last time they heard from him was more than 3 years ago. Frankie's not surprised.